What's going on, Menace? Episode 132? Menace and the Man?
You tell me, dude.
Might be. I'm gonna move back, actually. So I was probably loud. I was loud before, but what's going on, Menace?
Just I was up there doing line work all weekend, working nights.
Did you see 291?
I saw the very first woman's fight.
Terrible.
So I'm sitting there with I'm sitting there with my foreman and lineman. They don't really know anything about fighting. I'm like, the ugly blonde's gonna win. And yeah, she wrestled her and submitted her.
We love you, Miranda Maverick. Don't listen to Menace. But yeah, the ugly blonde.
She's up your alley, right?
No, drinking. Drinking wise. If I'm drinking, she's up my alley. Sure. Yeah, she's what, Miranda Maverick?
I don't know. I mean, she's probably got a nice body, right?
A lot of fighter chicks have nice bodies,
Yeah.
but imagine if she's like, I have such disdain for women's MMA like that, I hang out with a fighter chick. I'm just like, just hanging out with her, I start thinking how shitty her technique is. I'm like, you know what? Second thought, not interested.
Anywho,
And even in that fight, I had the other girl. I was like, I'm picking the other girl. She
really?
she was a big underdog, but then she has zero grappling. So I was like rooting.
Which is wild because I feel like all Brazilians have grappling. Like jiu-jitsu.
And here, why I picked the other girl, because Maverick has sold me before. You know, like her what did she have? 1 loss or 2 losses? I forget, but I remember.
What do you mean she sold you?
Just I had her huge favorite, and I picked her, and she went out and fucking, it's like, oh, she doesn't know how to fight. What is she doing in the UFC?
Maybe she had her period.
That's what I'm saying. That is why women's MMA can be a little trickier than men's as far as predictability of what happens when they step in the cage. Because they have all the same factors that men are going through and add in.
No, but on a serious note, she went in.
I'm being serious with that.
No. The Miranda, she went in, she took her down, and she submitted her. She did,
Yeah.
took a Ronda Rousey path.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see it she passed well, she set up the submission well.
We started it with, she's ugly now, I'm getting her up. Watch her be like, she's not bad looking.
She gets dialed up.
And then
Maybe I was
again,
being aggressive. I don't know.
take nothing we say seriously. I love all women, especially
and then
the
I
fighter
saw
ones.
who's the
Oh,
fighter.
all right, yeah, maybe.
Yes. Question
Definitely drinking. I've hooked up with worse.
Then the next fight, who's the guy I told you of that Russian? Now, dude, this guy's a problem.
I mean, that's not bad at all, right there.
Cutting weight, yeah.
The Kopelev.
Yes.
You messaged me about Kopelev. Kopelev
I saw
looked good.
that whole fight, and I was like, dude, this guy is. Because in my head, he can probably grapple like a motherfucker too. Right?
That dude, let me see.
Because I know he's on like a Russian striking team from back in the day or something like that.
Yeah.
But he just looked. Actually, that Brazilian bum rushed him a few times, and it fucked him up. It threw him off.
Well, he's lost to Carl Robertson, who is a lower tier.
Okay.
Top 20. Let me see what they have. They have him ranked 85, so never mind top 20. But at one point he was. I remember he had a couple wins. Now he's fallen off. I remember he fought Glover, but now, 4 losses in a row that I guess I didn't pay attention to. But since then, 3 wins in a row. 1 being 3 stoppages. So
Who, the Russian?
yeah. Oh, you know who he beat? Puna Soriano.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you sit there and strike with him,
that's he's good.
yes.
If
But
he's
if you
beating
bum
Puna.
rush him and he's not good there, I noticed.
You know what it was? This Russian, he had a rough start. Lost his first 2 in the UFC. Now he's won 3 in a row.
What's
So
his name
maybe
again?
Kopelev.
Kopelev.
Roman Kopelev. And then those other fights, the dude Bonfim. I told you him. You see that fight?
No.
That dude's good.
I did see the Derrick Lewis, the Derrick Lewis fight.
Bonfim is from Vicente Luque's gym.
Okay. In Brazil?
In Brazil, I believe. Serrato MMA, and that's that gym that I've seen Gilbert down there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where Gilbert is from.
And that's who he just fought?
No, Bonfim is from that gym. So I'm saying the guy Bonfim, he fought Trevin Giles. The guy Bonfim is like someone to watch. Took Trevin, not that Trevin Giles is, you know, the best, but the guy took him down, submitted him, was like, oh, this guy's
right.
Levels to jiu-jitsu or levels to grappling. This guy seems like he's pretty
next level.
15-0. And then the upset for Menace and the Man was Michael Chiesa. I didn't want to see our boy go out like that, but Kevin Holland, I know he's a big pothead. He smoked Chiesa.
I only saw the end result and the submission. I thought Chiesa was like a solid jiu-jitsu player.
Chiesa once dropped Jorge Masvidal. Like, his striking is so weird. Like, some fights, it's like, oh, it's not bad tonight. And then some fights, it's like, wow, this guy's in the UFC. That's how bad his striking looked.
Really?
He was, like, covering up and just, like, didn't look good. Like, he hasn't fought in 2 years. Something, maybe he got hit with
ring rust.
Maybe he got hit with a shot, and then just his reactions were not good. And then I saw a clip. He called, well, not that, you know, you could say anything. Like, oh, the guy might hit me with a left hand and knock me out. But he called that. He was like, Kevin Holland's really good with a Darce choke. And I sent you that. You didn't watch that?
No, I didn't see that.
He did an interview, and he was like, you know, I know Kevin Holland's really good with a Darce choke, and I've had problems with the Darce choke because he lost a few fights by Darce choke. He lost to Masvidal. He lost to Vicente Luque.
All you have to do is just double up on the one hand.
He, like, lets dead to rights. He gets to the point where it's like he's in there. And then even, there's a...
Because you can kind of feel a Darce choke coming on a little bit.
For sure.
If they have you in a front headlock, like, double up on one hand. Because that's where it starts.
A lot of even a Darce defense is front headlock defense.
Right.
But a thing that I always have with triangles, head and arm triangles, Darces, anything. So you're trying to make this, right? You're trying to do whatever. And you're trying to squeeze and take all the space out of there.
Right.
So what do I got to do to defend it?
Great space.
That's all you got to do.
Right.
I remember when I was a little kid being like, I'm going to take like physics to this. Like, oh, you're going to armbar me this way, so what do I got to do? Just make sure that my body is positioned to where my arm. So I was able to hitchhike out of arm bars like very quick.
Right.
Same thing with like Darce chokes. I remember I had trouble with it in the beginning when I first started training with all the Lima guys and the Darce guys. And then when you know how to apply the move, you should.
So what sucks for me with the Darce choke is I'm in that position often, whether it's north-south or front headlock. My arms are like too short to like hit it nice, I feel. And I'm squeezing my elbow, my fucking biceps are burning. I'm like, ah.
I remember I had struggled with it in competition, and it was like I was good at all the moves.
But someone like Chiesa or Holland with those long arms, that's like perfect.
It's tricky. It's like a head. Remember, were you good with a head and arm triangle?
I'm still pretty, yeah.
It's like a head and arm triangle, or whenever you have the arm in there, arm and guillotine, those ones are a little tricky where it's like, rear naked choke, I have it. I can even have a weird angle, and I'm squeezing the arm. Those other ones are like, how is he surviving this? Like, people probably were watching, like, Tony's going to survive this. Yeah.
It's all you need.
But Chiesa is a high-level grappler. It's also under the lights. So you struggle with that, and you're like, after the fight, I'm sure you're like, I knew the defense to that.
Well, there's that, and then...
just looked uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, like you said, maybe he got hit with a shot that...
Tough to watch.
Sometimes people are like, just get me out of here.
I like Kevin Holland, too, but I like Chiesa.
Especially when you're like a vet. You know what I mean? When you've been in there for over 15 fights, you're just like...
3 in a row now for Chiesa, too. And then that's what's tough is he was just a contender at 170. He was just number 5 at 170. Then he lost to Luque, then Sean Brady, and now Holland. 2 Darce chokes.
Those guys are all really good.
Murderers. All those guys are any given night type of guys. I would actually I like Holland. I'd take him off that list. I'd say Luque and Brady are like any given night guys.
Did those 2 fight yet?
Luque and Brady?
Yeah.
No. Maybe it was supposed to be. We'll get back to that. Maybe it was supposed to be... No, it's supposed to be him versus RDA, and that got pushed back. But Luque versus RDA. But Chiesa, what does he do now? Just if I'm him, especially after the 2-year layoff, what's tough with him is, and you've seen it, it was your situation. Once you fight at a certain level, that's the opponents we're throwing at you. You know?
Yes.
Even Tay. Tay was like, oh, we're going to, not the record, but a sleeper, Dennis. He's fucking people up in Arizona. There's like rumblings of like.
You know what would be a dope move for him? Paddy Pimblett.
Who?
Come up or I'll come down.
For Chiesa. You know what it is? You can't call out the smaller guy. It's always tough because then you're like a weight bully-ish.
Or I'll come down.
Yes, can't go down no more. Yeah, he's down at 55. He's a 70. Way too big. Way too big now. But I like where your head was at.
But hang on.
That's Frevola's fight next. Hopefully.
Paddy's getting too big for the weight class, I feel.
No, he seems like a Rumble-ish. Remember how Rumble, I used to hear stories of Rumble being Fat Elvis.
Right.
I remember Rampage Jackson told that story. That Rumble was, or no, King Mo told the story. That they used to call Rumble Johnson in college Fat Elvis. Or Elvis. Because every time they'd see him, you know, or if you saw him off season, he was huge.
Right.
First you saw him.
Come fight night.
Yeah. Oh, even there. We didn't, because we weren't podcasting, you know, RIP to Rumble.
Yes.
And then, do you have any memories with Rumble? Because I know you were around him a few times when you were fighting.
Kind of like you see him on camera. He's similar in person. Pretty soft-spoken. Kind of quiet guy. But also the way he walks, the way he talks, like you're just like, no one makes fun of him. Nobody.
He had, and it's funny that him and Tyrone both respected you and were fans of you. He has that Tyrone, Mike Tyson thing of like, I've seen you kill people. I've seen you knock Glover dead. I've seen you knock Gustafsson dead, you know.
What, he had gotten cancer, right?
Apparently, yeah. Like, I think Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Right, and it kind of just...
Right, that's what it was. I think he was sick and was hiding it or keeping it under wraps, private. But even you saw that with the fucking, what's his name? The Black Panther.
Right.
Nobody knew he was sick.
That the same thing?
He had some type of cancer as well. It's crazy. How quick cancer could take you out, you know, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Nobody gets that, but for, like, you know, I remember seeing pictures always, even before we started podcasting and seeing, because, you know, Tyrone Spong was on the mat, but, like, Rumble was the guy at one point. Yeah. He was, you know, and I remember seeing pictures of you with Rumble and Tyrone and being like, oh, my God.
Dude, those guys, it sounded like thunder.
Yeah.
When they would spar.
Or hit mitts.
Yeah. You were just like.
Yeah. But that was the thing we missed. Because I remember, you definitely were around him a little bit.
Yeah,
and he was a
complete stud,
fan favorite in the fight community, simply because you knew if a Rumble fight was happening, war.
But that was awesome that he didn't get cut at 170. He just
they would always
Did he get cut at 170?
He got cut at one point, went out of the UFC and started winning fights. I think remember.
And he went 205 and started murdering.
Remember at one point Rumble was funny, if you will, that he missed weight. They put him up a weight class, and then he missed weight up a weight class.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he missed weight at 70. They put him up at 85, and then he missed weight at 85, and they were like, really? Really? You know? He was a big boy, big boned. But that's what it was. King Mo used to say that story, and he was doing an interview, and someone was like, what do you think about Rumble? And he was like, you mean Elvis? And the person was like, what do you mean Elvis? And they were like, yeah, he'd always balloon up. Funny off topic, I remember Rob Scotty told me a story, guy we used to train with, that he saw Rumble out one night, years and years and years ago. He was out at a bar, and he said Rumble Johnson walked in with one of the biggest chicks you'll ever see.
Really?
Yeah, apparently had a thing for the big ladies.
Might have been like a sister.
Or, you know, maybe, but...
Because you know how, like, I feel like...
I don't know. No, I don't think it was a sister. Because I think, like, even saw the interactions. I remember him saying, was with, you know, had a thing for the big ladies. But that's the thing they say, right? You know, like big girls, big white girls and black guys. They love them. Can't get enough of them.
Oh, a big white girl?
Big white girl, yeah.
Wow.
Big white girl.
It couldn't be a sister.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, yeah, big white girl. I'd have to clarify that or double. But back to Chiesa. Don't know what he does next. But what's his name? Who beat him again?
Chiesa?
Oh, Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
What's Kevin Holland do now? Kevin Holland. Oh, no, even that. That's what Kevin Holland does. Don't go back up. No, Kevin Holland. Absolutely not.
Don't go back up to 185.
Said he's going back up to 185. Actually, no. Do what you got to do. Because he said he was hungry. And you know as well as anybody, 145 was a tough cut for you.
Yeah. Yeah, but chasing the big check, it makes it,
He's not. Tough fights at 185. Big guys at 185. If you can make 170, you're going to fight guys that can't make 170. You know what I mean?
Right.
170, 185, 205, those are the toughest weight classes to jump between because those are the biggest gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see? Jones J-Check sleeping. I like the light now.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's what he said after the fight, that he was going up. And I was like, oh, I don't like that for him.
Because at 170, I feel like he can contend with.
He said he went down to 170 for a shot at the BMF belt, but he said if the BMF belt's at 155, I can't make 155.
The BMF belt is a
participation trophy.
Yeah.
A really cool, respected, like
sure.
We have a lot of respect for you, so we're gonna let you guys fight for a participation trophy. That's what that is, and the fans are cool with it because it's like, all right, the fighters that are in it, the fight you made, all right, we'll deal with it. But if they were like, we're gonna make the BMF division,
yeah,
then we'd be like, oh,
don't do that.
So I get what Kevin Holland was going for. He was going for
Masvidal.
He was going for Masvidal. So the way. If you're around 45, 55, even 70, you want Conor. Well, but maybe not 70, but some people. If you're around 70, you wanted Masvidal. That was the money fight. That was the biggest fight you can get.
Which I think he beats him.
It's tough. Because you remember, what does he do? Beat him on the feet? Now maybe, if Masvidal slowed down. You forget. Remember, like, Masvidal versus Damian Maia.
Or if he takes him down, you don't think he could sub him?
No, Damian Maia couldn't sub him. Damian Maia put him in a lot of no, he's very savvy. Colby couldn't put him in too bad of spots on the ground. Was ground and pounding him. I'm saying, like, submission wise. Damian Maia didn't do much to him. He's very resilient and scrappy on the ground. But
okay.
Bobby Green, Tony Ferguson, our boy Loro. I love that Bobby Green gave Loro so much love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Loro's such a likable person. Marcos Gavan.
Yeah, love Loro. But even, it's just, you see, like, everyone always gave him love and was respectful and thank you, Loro, and blah, blah, blah. But Bobby Green was like, Loro, must have been like, Loro, I know you don't speak English, but let's go. Like, I'm putting you on the camera. And he put him right in the interview with Megan O'Leary, I believe it was, or someone. It's whoever it was. And then even Loro, like, Bobby Green said some stuff about Loro, and you could see Loro, like, understood. But then they were like, you want to respond? He was like, can I speak in Portuguese? Because, my English ain't coming out. And it was just cool to see Loro get that moment. Bobby Green gave him a lot of praise. And then for Bobby Green to finish him with a submission. Because we said before the fight, he's good. He's training. If he's really training with Loro.
Yes. Ferguson isn't going to hit him with anything.
Even the way we were talking earlier, that's part of what used to be my wizardry. Obviously, I trained for years, but Loro was a huge part in my training. Huge part in your training and your fighting and everything. Like, a lot of times you were in positions, you're like, oh, Loro. Loro taught me something here or whatever.
Well, also becoming just like jiu-jitsu proof because he was so good everywhere,
Yeah.
Just if I could stop his stuff, I could stop, anybody's stuff.
Even Loro, I grew up around it. Loro being a Bellator champion is like a gym legend.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, he won Bellator title and he was good, but in the gym he was really fucking good. Like,
yes.
And then even
he was better in the gym, I think, than competition night.
Yeah. Very. His whole obviously was the striking, if anything, even but his wrestling was better in the gym, and his wrestling was his wrestling was so good that it never would translate in the fights the way it should in the gym.
Well. He never got taken down in his fights, really, right?
No, I'm talking about his offensive wrestling was so good that he should have got to that point.
His offense never really worked on me.
You're a D1 wrestler.
Right. But what used to blow my mind is I would try to take him down, and he would gain 200 pounds. I'm like,
yeah.
Why can't I lift you? And
then even he would be able to get to you. You'd stuff the takedown.
Sure.
So right there, he engaged.
Obviously we did a ton of rounds together, and he got multiple takedowns on me, but...
Yeah, his wrestling was really good, and I would always train it with him, and then the fights would come, and I'd be like, here we go, we're taking this guy down, and it's easier said than done, obviously, but It's good to see you now, Loro.
What do you think's next for Bobby Green?
You know what's going to happen? They're going to give him the Paddy fight.
I would love that.
That'd be a good one.
Yes.
Especially, maybe, he might give Paddy respect. Paddy would have to disrespect him to bring out that Bobby Green that Tony brought out.
That's a bad Bobby Green.
Well,
you do not want the hood to come out.
No, I told you right before we started, that's where Tony fucked up.
Yes.
When keeping it real goes wrong for Tony Ferguson. Like someone asked him, a journalist said, what do you think or something when you see Bobby? And he said a couple, oh, he's a great fighter, blah, 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 but I see fear. And Bobby Green was like, what?
What do you see?
Yeah. And then they had that face-off after them bickering at the press conference. And no, Bobby Green's not afraid of you. Bobby Green, you know.
So Ferguson, that's his...
sixth.
Damn.
What sucks about that, too, because I'm a records guy who came from baseball, is he at one point was 25-3. And that was 25-9. Crazy. So I've always watched that since I was a little kid and seen guys like that develop these crazy records and then the end of their career.
Right.
Fedor, Anderson Silva come to mind. BJ Penn even, I would say. Like, what was BJ at one point? And then BJ ended terribly.
Well, the thing is, and we've talked about this, guys to start chasing those checks.
They were definitely, him and BJ definitely in that conversation of, the check's too big.
I love how he was like, what do you mean retire? I'm just getting started.
Yeah, like at one point.
Like, bro,
like
be real with yourself.
At one point, BJ Penn was 14-5 or 15-5. And then he finished his career 16-14. So that means he went 1-9. Like Mark Kerr is actually another example of that. He's one of the originals that I remember looking at back in the day. Where I remember Mark Kerr at one point was undefeated, and then he went from undefeated to couldn't win a fight again. I was worried about that at one point with Weidman, and then he started winning or got a win. Remember, he like dogged out that win against Omari Akhmedov. Yes. That was like his first win in a minute. But yeah, at one point, Mark Kerr, my next example, Mark Kerr was 12-0. Then he was 13-1, and then he finished his career 15-11.
Well, the thing is, listen, as you get older,
the paychecks.
No, but here I'm talking about how you feel. The training has to change, right? So obviously you're not going to train at the age of 39 like you did at the age of 29. You know what I'm saying? But I remember I always trained pretty similar throughout my whole career, and I just remember it, my recovery getting slower or me just kind of hurting more the next day.
Toward the end.
Yeah, where I was like, man, this sucks. Just the grind hurt every morning a lot.
Yeah.
And then having to go produce training, you're like, wow.
Which is funny because I always ask you now, like, you made it out good. You're good, right? You have like a little bit of an elbow problem, but overall.
So with that being said,
most people don't.
Yeah. So I know, because as I was getting older, right, we were constantly adapting my training volume and stuff like that. And Ryan Parsons, like, if I showed you Dan Henderson's training schedule, you would laugh.
Yeah.
He was working out like 3 times a week.
That's a thing for a lot of people. A lot of people.
Little cardio in between.
We go hard on Long Island. You guys were going hard.
Yeah. If I were to have a competition coming up now, taking workout, it would have to be, I train one day, almost a rest day, train hard again, and
We've talked about it in the past. That was a really good room at the height of it.
Yeah.
That Long Island MMA pro class, especially with the Serra guys and the Tiger Schulman's guys and everyone that would get in there. But Bobby Green, probably Paddy Pimblett, something like that. Tony Ferguson, fuck, because if they cut him, you know he's going to go to the PFL. His wife's going to say stop. He's going to say, shut up, bitch.
Yeah. I'm looking at his losses.
All studs.
Lost to Charles Oliveira.
He's that perfect example. He's at that point where the only thing he's going to get, he's not getting number 50. He's getting killers.
But do you think Chandler changed him?
No, I think he was changed.
Because he knocked him out bad.
No, I think he was changed before that. I think do you want my honest opinion on Ferguson was the knee injury.
Right.
The trip of the wire and completely blowing out his whole knee. And then he came back and he was the same, but you're never the same with stuff like that. You're not. You're just not. If you're crazy, maybe, but mentally, but physically.
Like I was saying before, like when training, I used to be able to do 3 sets of 50 push-ups without a problem. Now, 2 sets of 50 are tough.
The injuries are tough, and then we could segue there, but we'll finish with the card, and then we'll get to it, is Spence. I was arguing with people on YouTube comments and on TikTok comments because I was like, I think Spence is different after the car crash. And people were like, no, he's not. Look at his last 2 fights. I was like, yeah, look at his last 2 fights. He's definitely different. I think his reactions are slower. His defense is off. Like, he's a different person. What do you mean?
Chris Algieri said, something like that has to change.
Has to.
A little bit.
It's not possible.
He came out, he's just a warrior, complete stud. So I kind of wonder if that car accident didn't happen, how the Crawford fight, if it would be different at all.
I don't know. Crawford, the accident changed Spence, but that fight might not have went different. Could have, but it might. Crawford's been that guy. So Gennady Golovkin was that guy for a long time at 160, where he was a WBO champion. No one would fight him. And then I remember Demetrius Andrade turned into that guy. Too, at one point.
So Deontay Wilder commented that he can see in Spence's eyes and just how he was moving that he was dehydrated. He sucked too much weight, he thinks.
Yeah.
He looked dry at weight. Like, he was ripped.
The funniest thing I saw, and it stoner to stoner, he looked high. He looked like, he looked like he just smoked and was walking out there. What's that movie? Pineapple Express?
Right.
When she's like, I see you two, your eyes red as the devil's dick. You two are high as fuck. That's what he looked like.
Yeah.
High as fuck. And even in the fight, looked like, he showed up to sparring high today. And got fucked up. And even for Terence Crawford, I sent you that one clip. You saw that with, I think, Jermell Charlo? Is who he was talking shit to? He was like, you next, buddy. We knocked Spence down, then walked over, grabbed his nuts, and then was like, you next. And then you saw even off that guy, I'm pretty sure, I don't think it was him, it was that guy's twin brother got slapped by Caleb Plant.
Oh, that was his twin brother?
Yeah.
Because the name sounded familiar. I was like...
You don't see a lot of slaps like that. That was a good one. That was like Power Slap. Like, Power Slap should have clipped that and fucking been like, next episode next week. Caleb Plant, you in?
But he made space.
Slapped the shit out of him.
Also, people got in there real quick to break it up.
But I think that's what people probably think. Like, when fighters get into a fight, they let it. No. Usually when 2 fighters get into a fight, everyone's like, holy shit, we got to stop this. Holy shit. Yeah.
It's going to be bad.
Yeah. It's going to be bad.
But it was his brother. They both fight?
They both fight. Both badasses.
Is there any rhyme or reason why he smacked him?
I don't know. I think they had beef, words, want to fight each other. I don't know if they've already fought. I'm not a big Caleb Plant guy.
He got crushed by Eroll Spence, no?
Who?
Caleb Plant.
No, bigger.
Who crushed him? There was a big fight.
What's his name? He fought, what's his face? The 60 pounders. I think he what's the ginger guy?
Oh, Canelo?
Yeah.
That's right.
My brain was,
the ginger Mexican.
I was about to be like, Frevola. Oh, that's the funniest thing. I was going to give it to Frevola, but then I actually thought, like, man, I got to save it for one day when we have Frevola with us. But he listens to our show, so I'll give it to you. And he's told me about it. But I was going to, we should get him to do something with us and then just be like, all right, we're going Canelo. We'll just pretend he's Canelo.
Have him put on a little accent.
And just will run up to him like, you know, Canelo, Canelo.
I love it.
Do you know who this is? It's Canelo. Holy shit. Can I get a picture with you? And just make it like, and have people start swarming him. People will be like, it's Canelo, it's Canelo.
He would just have to shave his beard, though.
He 100%, at quick glance, someone would be like, it is Canelo, you know?
He would have to shave his beard, though.
Yeah.
Canelo's clean shaven.
No, he has a beard sometimes. He'd have to shake the big beard off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go with stubbles.
Yeah.
I love him.
But yeah, he got fucked up by Caleb Plant. Or Caleb Plant got fucked up by Canelo.
But, I mean, Crawford, I saw the highlights of that fight.
Brutal.
He just...
Competitive a little bit early, but you saw Crawford just had him. And then, so one of Errol Spence's best things is his jab. That's where he runs his fights. And he was getting it off a little bit. He had 1-2 rounds where it was like, oh, maybe he's... And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, whole fight changed.
What's
Crawford
wild
caught him.
was you would see Spence land like a solid punch where you're like, oh, damn. But then he would come over and just, like, melt him. It was like,
Yeah.
what the? How would you get hit and then just, like,
Not today, Junior.
boom,
You know? Yeah.
drop a guy?
Crawford.
I did look. He hit an uppercut. Spence hook came, and then he hit him with a right.
Triple G was that guy at one point. Canelo is that guy right now. Not Canelo. Demetrius Andrade is that guy right now a little bit. There's always these guys who wind up, like Terence Crawford, who wind up with that outskirt championship, the W, or even the IBF or the WBO.
Now he's got all three type, right? That was.
He's the first person to unify in 2 weight classes. You know.
Yeah, he's a problem.
But I'm saying, like, that's where he's been his whole career is, like, then he unified a division below, and it's like, oh, all right, he's for real. He's the first boxer in history to unify in 2 weight classes. It's crazy. And now he has a chance to do it in 3 weight classes. Unify if he goes up and fights that dude that he was talking shit to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which
I'm pretty sure.
he can put on a little muscle and be fine, I think.
Yeah.
He's like 5'8", I think, 5'9".
Yeah.
Wait, 146 and a half, I think.
Yeah. That fight was at 47. But Terence Crawford's that guy, so good for him. I was rooting for Spence, but like we said, you gotta go. I was rooting for him.
Yeah.
And if you're rooting for him, you like him, because I was on to him because he's the guy who, supposedly the guy who was one of the first people to get the better of Mayweather in sparring. So I was like, oh shit, someone beat up Mayweather.
Well, like I said,
and then it was a whole thing.
Speaking to Algieri, he was like, he told me, dude, this guy is different.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a champion.
Oof. And then we'll finish 291 quick, and then we can even go back to that one. But Derrick Lewis, you saw that?
That's right. Came out.
And I said he was the
knee.
I said he was the BMF at heavyweight. Came out with the Masvidal,
Yes.
with the flying.
Which nobody does that except for Verdun.
Well, he said, you know who does it is 6-pack Derrick Lewis, because he showed up with abs for this one.
That's right.
Yeah. He's like, I got abs. I got to be doing flying shit.
He's funny. He needed that. That was huge.
He was not cut like we talked about, but he was in trouble for his job if he lost that fight.
Yeah. But he's locked in for another 3 fights.
Because of the skid and the odds, everyone was like, and even me, I was like, oh, I think DeLima might get him. But then I kind of was thinking before the fight, I'm like, DeLima's the elite and the really good guys kind of beat Lewis, especially lately that he's improved. Before he's lost other fights, but DeLima's right beneath that. You know, he wasn't that level of guy to beat Derrick.
He also came out and put it on him early.
Right from the jump. And then Pereira, Blachowicz. Did you get to watch this
fight?
fight?
I was talking to, but they were like, why'd they stop the fight? He was covered up. I'm like, do you know what it's like getting hit by those cinder blocks?
Oh, the Lima fight?
Yes.
Yeah, and the Lima wanted nothing to do with that.
And I also told them, I think I was talking to my lady. Is the ref is there saying, "Hey, give me something, move. You gotta move. You gotta show me something." If you stay here, that means listen.
If you don't answer his commands, then you can't.
With not verbal, you have to actually answer his commands with action.
And we've seen that. Who did it recently with the thumbs up? And then I always remember Uriah Faber had the thumbs up. Someone did it recently where they gave a thumbs up and they stopped the fight. Forget who, but he was getting fucked up, and you can't do that. Got to react.
Yes.
Don't look at the ref and say anything
The thumbs up is if you were getting submitted.
Yeah. People were doing it when they were getting fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's when you can't do it. But did you watch Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz?
No. Wanted to.
One of the you don't want to. It's Dennis Bermudez.
Really?
Dennis Bermudez, Angela Hill special. Split decision. Could have went either way. What are you judging? What are you watching? Blachowicz out-grappled him, had the control time, Pereira landed the strikes. And then even Blachowicz actually hit the wall with the... He toughed through it, but the cardio, the altitude...
Okay.
He had the 8-minute mark, he was slow. He went in slow motion. And then the third round, he was slow motion.
Yeah.
Labored. And then Pereira just couldn't find the mark to knock him out, but had moments. But I thought, first glance, I was like, oh, Blachowicz. Split for somebody, probably, but I'm leaning Blachowicz.
Now, Pereira, who does he fight next?
Title fight.
Did Dana White say that?
No, Dana didn't.
Was there not a journalist that asked him that question?
Dana was on a vacation.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But still, somebody comes in.
No, I don't think nobody asked that. I think that it was led to be led on that the winner of this would be in the title fight. But then I did see something else that said Izzy versus, or someone might be starting that rumor, actually. I think that's what it was. Izzy versus Jiri for the 205 belt. Yeah, probably a rumor.
Yeah. You lost to Blachowicz.
Who did?
Izzy.
Oh, Izzy did. Yeah.
So you can't jump up and...
But he won fight since then.
I guess there is the three-way...
And you know what the biggest thing is? They probably look at the numbers and go, oh, yeah, you could do that. The pay-per-view numbers or the Instagram, social media numbers. And they go, oh, yeah, it's not as good as slap fight.
Well,
but...
it's a super fight.
Yeah. And then they go, yeah, it's not as good as slap fighting, but we see what you're doing, Izzy. We like it. You never seen that? How Dana White, when it was against the media a little bit, because Dana White was saying how slap fighting's numbers are off the charts. Better than the NFL, better than the UFCs, better than baseball, better than everybody. And it's true.
Really?
When you add up the views and impressions off of TikToks and Instagrams and videos like that he was talking about.
Okay.
Same as anything. Like, all right, this video got 10 million impressions and 2 million views or whatever, and they that's what it is.
It's so easy to put out those highlights. It's just one slap.
Slap fighting content went crazy. So when Dana started revealing these metrics, people were like, I don't believe him. I was like, oh, all right, I could see it, because and even all these other people that would question it are like YouTubers, I guess. I don't know if they don't watch the metrics or whatever. I could totally see that. Weird shit pops sometimes. And then these little, it wasn't like 10-minute, hour-long, 7-minute videos were getting these numbers. It was those slaps, those short, But what happens is, like or view, share, gets pushed in the algorithm, so many people saw it. It was so many eyes delivered. I'll take those numbers. Yeah. Sure. So Dana took those numbers and went, these are the numbers. We outdid all these companies. And then there was a media member that was like, you did? And he was like, yeah. Really? Yeah. Are you sure? And Dana was like, he's like, who? And Dana did where are you from? And he told him where he's from. He was like, I'll give you the numbers. Supposedly that guy's dead now.
I think, like you said, yeah, sure, they're gaining impressions. I watched them all that show up.
Love them.
You got me for 7 seconds. 7 seconds.
We never talked about that either. How do you feel about
watch someone get mollywopped?
Obviously, then if they were like 50 grand, you'd be like, I'm going to slap fight next weekend. But obviously, you're not going to be like, I'm going in there for 2 grand or whatever. But how do you feel about slap fighting? We never talked about that.
It's dumb. I mean, it's cool, but dumb.
Yeah, exactly. But dumb, but I will watch it.
Yes.
Especially the production. You know what Dana White did with slap fighting is like just familiarity. Like this pizza tastes like the pizza I used to eat. So I'm watching it and I'm like, this looks like something I watch. It's like UFC and tough programming, but with slapping. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Keep it on. I'll watch it.
I'm yet to watch a slap event.
And then they build the characters, and maybe some of the characters are corny, but
the weigh-in is retarded.
It's all UFC. I'm saying,
I know.
That's what I'm saying. It's pizza. It's not your favorite pizza, but it's pizza.
Yes. And then these guys talking smack. It's like, dude, you do not train. You're a fat guy.
But that's part of it too. What gets you animated or into it is like, fuck this guy, or I like this guy. It's
right.
Wait, it's pizza, 100%, killer. I had this argument at the Token Challenge I did a couple weeks ago, that event, and I said, yeah, I like slap fight. I'm not gonna hate on slap, and I'm not. I really, the production and the idea of it, I'll watch it.
But it's almost like, for the most part, it's a coin flip. If you win the coin flip, you win.
You'd be in. If someone was all of a sudden like, yeah, figured it out. Friday night, my new show, Street Fights. Dana White Street Fights or Stan the Man Street Fights on Friday nights. I'm going to air it on fucking ESPN or something, or YouTube, anything. You wouldn't watch that.
Yeah, of course.
So if slap fighting got super monetized and got a rocket ship strapped to its back and the production is upgraded, all right, now it's the greatest production possible in maybe a shitty sport, but I'll watch it. It's interesting. I'll click it.
I don't think people are following slap boxing like they're following the UFC. I think that's where a lot of people were like...
The familiarity is what got me. I think people don't separate. That's where the hate comes in. And people are like, this isn't UFC. Why are you promoting this on UFC? They promote fucking Jake Gyllenhaal movies too on UFC. You know, people don't go in the same uproar. But even all that shit I'm into. Anything that they can do and 10x and like, we're going to put the... All right, it's a weird thing. We're going to put the best production behind it. And all right, now we're getting somewhere. Maybe I'll watch it.
But I mean, I will watch any type of violence. It doesn't have to be...
That's what I'm saying.
Like, yeah. I'll watch, like, if something on Instagram pops up and someone getting hit by a bus, I'm not like, whoa, switch. I'm like, let's do that again.
Yeah, the car crash mentality. Everyone loves car crashes. But so Pereira probably fighting for the title. So now the BMF belt. Blachowicz too. If I was Blachowicz, I'm breaking a mirror, I'm punching a wall, I'm doing something when I go in the back. He definitely felt like, you know, same thing I've said with the judging, and it's a conversation we've had many times. Split decisions, they should be like, get ready, we're going again. Get ready, we're going again.
Like a whole nother fight or another round?
Another round, yeah. Get ready, we're going again. Who wants to win?
For a split decision.
Yeah. Split decisions go into sudden victory. Draws go into sudden victory. 5-minute round. And if after that 5 minutes, it's still a draw, going to another one.
Draws, yes. I think it wasn't a draw, though.
Our split decision's a draw.
What is it?
Yeah.
It's not.
It is to me. But get me more judges, man. I don't want to...
Yes.
Because a lot of times even, I've seen so many split decisions where it's 3-0. Ooh, maybe there you got me. Maybe I'm going to go to MMA decisions real quick, and I'm going to see where they scored that one. Because I had it for Blachowicz, and it went 2-1. What's his name? Pereira. Alex Pereira.
Well, Alex Pereira has like...
They had it more for... The media had it more for Pereira.
Is that the judging every minute? You get a point?
No, this is MMA decision, so people scored it 29-28.
Okay.
And then, so only 4 people scored it for Blachowicz, and then probably like 15-20 scored it for Pereira. I only watched it once. I was smoking weed, hanging out, moving shit while I was watching it. But was a good fight. It delivered. But Blachowicz tried. Oh, even right from the jump, Blachowicz was like, nope, wrestling. Shot a takedown.
Oh,
right off the jump. Yeah.
Get stuffed?
Get stuffed, yeah. Got some takedowns, though.
How old is Blachowicz?
He's old. He's 40 now. But then the BMF belt. Your boy. I mean, both your boys, I would say. But I feel like you and Poirier were friends.
There's definitely respect.
Respect, yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I love violence, but he got flatlined. Yeah, you saw that even not flatlined like they had to wake him up, but
that was.
He went off for a second.
You have to follow that up.
He went off, and the ground woke him up.
Yes.
Like the way he fell, I was like, oh.
You know what's wild? So I was watching it. I'm like, I'm confused because his hand was there.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I'd have to watch it a few more times. Like, did the foot come around and kick him in the back of the head? Like,
I think just the impact even of the shin connected to this and drove this into his head. Yeah.
was it a headshot or a neck?
I mean, that's what my little cousin I was watching. He was like, "Oh, he kicked him in the neck." I was like, "That's a little bit of both almost, because the neck almost like
Sure.
when it goes in here, your shin's touching the chin. You know, it's
Yes. But you've seen, people get kicked in the neck mainly.
Ronda.
Just the head wraps around.
Yeah.
There's definitely shaking of the brain.
Yeah.
But also the neck, like, just lights off.
Crazy knockout. And then the best is they were like, have you ever done that? He's like, never did it. Don't work it, anything. And then he's like, before the fight, he's like, I never trained it. Don't work it. Before the fight, I asked Trevor or someone. He's like, I threw it and said, does this look like a right hand? And then threw the head kick. And they were like, yep. And he was like, all right. I'm going to try it, I guess, in the biggest fight of my life in a couple minutes. And then Poirier said after the fight, yep, surprised me with it. Didn't think he was going to be launching head kicks, and then I blocked it in the first round, and then saw it coming, thought I was going to get my shit up, and boom. Yeah. I'd have to rewatch it, but yeah, I thought that too. I think that's what it was. Either neck or just pushed his own shit into his...
He's so good with... Not that he's good with it, but he handles loss, like...
Yeah.
Very professional,
He handles losing better than he handles winning. 1 million percent. 1 million percent. He wins and he's like, you dirty bastard, look what the fuck. And they're like, nah, good fight. Nah, fuck you. It's like, whoa, all right. That's how he wins. When he loses, yo, man, great fight. Nothing but respect, Crazy. Sour Patch Kid for you. And then Gaethje immediately wins the fight. Looked great. Saw the first fight and then saw the second fight. Gaethje controlled himself a little more. Instead of trying to walk Poirier down.
Kind of like I said.
Let the fight come to him, was patient. And then...
Where does that push each guy now?
Poirier's reached that status. Diaz, Masvidal, I think.
Diaz isn't in the UFC anymore.
I'm saying that status. Not that he's going to fight them. I'm saying that
okay.
status doesn't matter who he fights. He's going to be a main event. And it's going to have title implications on it. Either the guy beating him is getting close to the title or it's getting Dustin back into a contender fight.
I would love to see Dustin fight Colby.
That's never going to happen. They already tried and he wouldn't want it. Dustin didn't want it. But then even after the fight, Justin Gaethje won. Conor wrote, like, I would fucking kill this guy. Some shit like
I saw that.
And then people were asking Gaethje about it. Gaethje's like, don't talk to me about that guy anymore. He said to Megan O'Leary, he's like, don't bring that. Are we live right now? And Megan was like, no, we're not live. I was like, all right, good. Don't talk to me about that guy no more. Don't bring that guy up anymore. And then the other media,
he's
sick of hearing about it.
Only a money fight. He's in terms of fighting for what matters or getting closer to a title fight, he's irrelevant.
They said, do you want to fight Conor? And he said, Conor's turned me down 6 times. Plus, and then he said something else. Then he said, plus, I don't really want to fight a guy on steroids. So let's stop talking about it. And it was like, oh, shit, we're going to go there? Yeah. Mic drop by Gaethje.
He still hasn't...
I don't think he's in... I think he's in USADA. There's journalists out there that know how to look it up. I haven't discovered that yet, but... He might be in the pool. Not sure. But, see you later, Chandler. The fight to make is Conor McGregor versus Gaethje. Because I've told you before.
Why not Chandler? They're
the BMF belt and a better fight. And I get it. They're on tough and it'll be, a good fight. But the lightning right now could strike and it would be Gaethje. Chandler and Conor would be a great fight, but Conor wants that BMF belt. They made that BMF belt for Conor. They don't have to admit it. I know. From watching from a distance.
What are you talking about?
100%. Remember,
Well, then why did it start at 170?
Because they were trying to lure Conor back. Look who they put in the fight. They put Nate Diaz, and they put Masvidal. And then Dana would always make it like, oh, Conor won't fight Masvidal. I'm keeping him away. And then he said, like, coy, side little things like, oh, Conor's not big enough for Masvidal. fuck I am, mate. You know, like, well, yeah, Conor thinks he's big enough for anybody. He'll fight the heavyweights. So you can't tell him he's small. He was like, I'll fight Miles, but I'll fight Nate at 70 twice. I don't give a fuck. They made that first BMF belt because Conor was out and contract negotiations, and they couldn't get Conor back. So they made the BMF belt like a little hook. And then Conor came back, and he was 100% easily they could have had him fight for the BMF belt.
Every weight class should have a BMF belt.
Hold on. Right now, they can't get Conor back, so what do? Poirier, Gaethje. We tried to put him against Gaethje a bunch of times. It would be an action fight if we could make it happen. You already fought Poirier a couple times. We could run that one back. Let's do it. BMF belt. Conor will tweet about it. There's no way Conor's going to stay silent on it. Other pay-per-views, Conor don't say nothing. Guarantee you he comments on Gaethje and Poirier winner. And then what did he do? He said, I want to fight Gaethje. I will kill Gaethje. I'll fuck Gaethje up.
Yeah, I'll slap him up.
Yeah, I'll kill him. Make the fight. That's the fight. Not Chandler. Because then even what'll happen is Gaethje will talk that shit. If you provoke him, Conor will say something and Gaethje will be like, nah, fuck you. Like, shut up. Chandler will laugh it off and be like, you know, he could talk, but our team is 7-1, and
right.
You know,
come fight night.
Yeah, where Gaethje, they're selling to, you know, that fan that just wants the violence. You're getting that same fan with Chandler.
Yeah.
But that extra is Gaethje. The BMF belt on the line.
Like Chandler's PG-13.
Yeah.
Gaethje's like,
Gaethje will be rated R.
Right.
Yeah. Both fights could be rated R and blah blah blah, but the pre-fight, you know, even Gaethje's not a street fighter. I think if Conor mushed Gaethje's face, that would have been Gaethje's first street fight.
Sure.
Chandler was like, that clip stuck in my head. We're gonna fight right now. And then you watch it, you're like, yeah, really what happened? Ryan Bader pushed the other dude out of the way, like, I got you, Chandler, fight him. And then he turned around and looked like, you're not doing nothing? Like, what are you doing? I would have been fucked this dude up. 100%. And it's not like, oh, Chandler's a bitch. Some people, you know, they're not
Chandler,
fighters.
I would be like, I would have a similar reaction.
Yeah, like, I'm not
ready. I'm a respectful guy.
Yeah, I'm not saying it in a bad way at all.
No,
you know what I mean? I'm saying he's just that he's controlled, if you will, that discipline. That he's like, oh, what the fuck?
Right?
Are you serious?
Why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Why'd you push me?
Where
I'm so bad at confrontation.
Yeah.
That it would almost need to be predetermined, like in the locker room. Like, yo, what are you gonna do if he pushes you? I'm like, if he pushed me, I would do A, B, and C. So then when it happened, I'm like, I said I was doing B.
Because then what do you do otherwise? Islam. So even right now, Gaethje has the red panty ticket or the Willy Wonka ticket, if you will. Remember Poirier? They were like, you could fight for the title or you could fight Conor McGregor. And he was like, I'll fight Conor McGregor. Right. Then they were like, you could fight for the title or you could fight Conor McGregor again. He was like, I'll fight Conor McGregor again.
Easy money.
Yeah. So Gaethje, fight Conor McGregor. You beat Conor McGregor. Your stock skyrockets. Then you fight for the title. And you get armbarred by Islam. I don't think he's beating Islam.
Who's that? I don't think he gets armbarred by Islam.
Nah, no, I'm joking. But I think he could beat Islam because Islam is not Khabib. We've seen it. I think even the fact that
he'll get tired.
The fact that Islam got knocked out, you can almost say with Khabib, can't get knocked out. We've seen his chin tested and or whatever. Just all right, maybe he's one of those guys. He's an iron chin. He made it through. Never seen him knocked out, so I can't say he gets knocked out. I can't say someone's gonna knock him out. You know, I've seen Islam get caught, so Gaethje could knock him out, but
by not even like a main known guy.
Yeah. Oh, something interesting too about this fight. So remember how we were talking about Gaethje, and I said he usually chokes, if you will, or loses these, you know, kills everybody, and then gets to this one and has said it himself, lays an egg, like he's not himself in these bigger fights. He said before this fight it was the calmest I think he's ever felt, or that he was just eerily calm. And then he started trying to hype himself up, and Trevor Whitman was like, no, let's go with this. Stay calm. And he like kept him calm before the fight. And then he said he went out there, was still calm. He's like, no adrenaline, no nothing. And then he said once we started, the adrenaline started, but I was just like in a zen.
It was almost like a very hyped up sparring match for him. I bet you he's an animal in the gym.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Some of his best performances are probably in training.
Yeah. Oh, you saw that too. Your boy Kush Usman was like really emotional. You see that clip?
Yes.
Very emotional. I guess him and Gaethje are probably really close now.
Well, yeah. Then I saw it on Instagram, so then I commented, "Miss us." ... like a cry face. No response.
I was gonna say I bet you didn't respond to that one either. Yeah, it happens. But what else you want to talk about? Nate Diaz, Jake Paul this weekend. Let's get
right.
to it.
You're going.
Going. I wish the Menace could go. We gotta blow this thing up to that point where it's like kids are coming with us. Everybody, we're putting the gang. We're putting the gang on a plane. Putting the gang on a plane.
I just gotta work a couple hours.
Yeah, that's Jake Paul right there.
Cool.
Even like so.
That's the goal. So like, comment, subscribe.
For instance, like your kids know Jake Paul.
Yes.
My 4-year-old nephew was like, Jake Paul? No, I know Jake Paul, yeah. Jake Paul. You know, I was like, all right, you know Jake Paul.
Yeah.
So
my kids think he created Prime.
Yeah. So where Nate Diaz is like a god, if you will, or a legend to like diehard fight fans, like all the Diaz brothers and the army, the Diaz army is like a folklore thing. Jake Paul is a huge YouTuber and is almost that guy for YouTube, like a YouTube. You're the legend of YouTube. Vine.
How old is Nate?
Ooh, he's up there. I think he's 36, 37.
He's not the same age as me, bro.
38. He's 38 or 39. So I saw one video, and then some controversy came out about it. I don't know if you saw it, the Nate Diaz sparring video, where they didn't say what round it was, anything like that, but it was Nate, like...
Oh, that he looked super slow.
Looked slow, but he was fucking the guy up in the sparring. Like it was as if his fight with Conor, or one of those fights where the guys like his fight with Gray Maynard, where he's like chasing them down and peppering them.
Right.
That's what the sparring looked like. And then even just Diaz brother.
He's 38, bro.
Yeah. What's Jake? 28, 26? In his 20s.
Yeah. I don't like that.
I don't like anyone fighting Jake Paul. And the thought of, like, you know, an MMA fighter getting smoked by Jake Paul, and then the theory or the casual being like, oh no, YouTube boxing is better than MMA.
Right.
But then again, Jake Paul's different. Jake Paul really trains. One thing that's weird about this fight, or at least a thing to watch, is I know Jake Paul changed his camps. I don't know.
Paul's 26.
I don't know if BJ Flores is out, but I know he's not like the head trainer. I know he hired like Shane Mosley, and I don't know if Jay Leon Love is still involved. I don't know. He changed up some things.
He's 12 years younger.
Yeah.
And when I felt I could probably...
26-year-old Menace was a monster.
26 probably was my...
That's the thing,
prime.
too. People hit their primes at different ages. Nate Diaz's
prime is not 38.
Nate Diaz is not in his prime right now. Yeah. But we're taking some things out, though. So, and there's a thing.
What about the smoking weed thing?
Ooh, it's going to be tough for him, but he's a professional. He'll figure it out. But there's some things like in fighting, if you will, or even in boxing, like now that we're taking all the other things out, Nate only has to worry about boxing. So he's a fighter. He's an athlete. He has a lot of rounds. And then there is like this folklore about both of the Diaz brothers that Andre Ward's one of the best boxers of our era, of our lifetime. Had injuries and stuff. That's why he's not the guy. He would have probably been a Floyd or something had he not had the injuries. They used to spar him. Andre Ward used to sing fucking praises of both the Diaz brothers that I'd be like, no fucking chance that either one of these guys do anything to Andre Ward. He's a fucking gold medalist in the Olympics, undefeated pro. Nobody touches Andre Ward. They used to fucking like... And then I remember Andre Ward did an interview and he said, he's like, their style is weird. Their timing's weird.
Those elbows up.
Their timing's weird. Their cardio's fucking impeccable.
Good reach.
And they're durable as can be. So the second that you go, they go, and they're on you with combinations. They back you up. He like gave a description of a boxer that I was like, oh, that guy sounds good. He was talking about Nate and Nick Diaz, or one of the brothers. I'm pretty sure it was even Nate. And he was saying about like when they asked him, I think when he was fighting Conor McGregor. And he's commented on Nick too. They have deceptive striking. Take out the kicks, take out the wrestling. When it's just hands, they got some weird. Yeah. There's a realm where he just peppers Jake Paul up. You know, like Jake Paul's throwing and he's just touching him, not hitting him, touching him. And then
how
later,
did the fight go?
I think. I'm rooting for Nate Diaz. I want Nate Diaz to win by TKO late in the fight. That's what I'd be hoping for. That's a realm that's very possible. We've never seen Jake Paul stop, but we've seen Nate stop people late or surge late in the fight. I mean, if you ask Nate, he beat Leon Edwards late in the fight.
It's a tough one.
It's not a tough one.
How long are the rounds?
It's not a tough one.
How long are the rounds?
I believe 3 minutes. I believe 10 3-minute rounds. It's not a tough one in the reality realm of fighting. We live in this crazy world where shit happens, where Jake Paul knocked out Woodley and Ben Askren got knocked out. But here's what it is. It's also the narrative that got painted, where he's a YouTube boxer. No, he trained with BJ Flores.
No, I got it.
He was legit the whole time. These guys, it showed Woodley slacked and didn't take him seriously or had serious holes in striking. Ben Askren didn't take him seriously.
And they ran it back.
Didn't take him seriously. I think
they ran it back, though.
Tommy Fury took him seriously. I think Nate Diaz did take Jake Paul seriously.
You're going to tell me Woodley didn't take it seriously the second time?
I'm saying he showed holes in his shit, like serious holes in his shit. And shit that we saw in his MMA fights. Something happened somewhere where Woodley went, I don't throw punches anymore. I'm gun shy. No, he didn't throw a lot of shots. He was having some success in the second fight, but it was like, no, you're a UFC champion. You have endless more rounds of combat experience. You should be throwing way more shots and smoking him. Instead, he started letting Jake Paul lead and started biting on Jake Paul's feints and got knocked out. Fighting's fucked up.
I'm going to go Jake Paul.
Tough. I can't pick him. I can't pick. When Conor McGregor, I'm a big Conor fan. Nate Diaz was my fucking guy.
No, I know.
So when Conor started winning me over with the chirping and funniness, and then he was going to fight RDA, I'm like, oh, I hope he beats RDA. Then when that fight fell out and it was like, oh, Conor's going to fight Nate Diaz, I was like, oh my God, how do I pick? Like, what do I do here? I got to go. Like, I can't.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, there's no chance I pick Conor to win, even though I like him. I'm not picking against the Diaz brother. Smoking weed and jiu-jitsu.
Oh, I had Conor to win the first time.
Yeah. It was one of those ones where I was like pacing in the living room because
that was the very first time I picked Conor to win, and he lost. I was like, what?
Like, did I like Conor? Sure, but I'm not picking against it, you know. I love Robbie Lawler. I picked Nick Diaz. I knew Robbie was going to win. My heart, I was like, I'm going Nick Diaz. I'm not picking against Nick Diaz.
Nick.
That's what I'm saying. Even, when they fought. Yeah. It's a tough pick. You can't pick against the Diaz brothers. For me, other people are like, fuck them. They suck. They got no wrestling. But
who's going to win? Who do you guys got? Jake Paul or Nate Diaz?
But yeah, I'm going to try to get as much footage as I can. Blog. I got the superstar gigolo extraordinaire, Rob Bones, coming with me.
What's his price, ladies?
Oh, yeah, he's slinging dick in Dallas.
What's his price?
Oh, me and Rob Bones will be there slinging dick in Dallas.
How much?
I'm going tomorrow. I'm going to get myself cleaned up.
Wow.
I'm going to get the tape up. Everything lined up nice. Pick up the suit from the dry cleaners. And then we're going to sling dick in Dallas, me and Rob Bones. But yeah, we're going to run this shit up. Numbers are going to keep going up. And then eventually it'll be a family trip. We'll bring the Menace boys. We'll bring the lady. Lou. But yeah, on to Dallas. I'm leaving Wednesday. And then I'm homeless today. Yeah, shout out to Raging Al. Raging Al closed the deal today. Got my family a gift. Sold the house. Closed the deal. So I'm moving upstate. And then me and Menace were shaking and baking, making moves today, trying to get them ready for October or August 12th.
August 12th.
Ken Lester Memorial.
I'm going to do a little wrestling.
Little wrestling. I'm excited for it.
Now it's 2 weeks, right? Like, let's say I hit it hard and train hard in 2 weeks. Like, what am I going to...
Well, that's the humor of the vlog.
The vlog is kind of like, listen, I'm coming off the couch.
Did he train? No, not at all.
Right. And we'll see what happens. That's what we're doing.
You know when, like, that over-the-hill athlete thinks he still got it? Right there. Yeah, like, right there.
I also won't be surprised if I win it.
100%. You're not over the... it's a joke, obviously. You could still be in the UFC.
But I also, if I lose, will be like, fucking, this is bullshit.
If you wanted to, you could still be in the UFC winning fights.
Yes.
You could be doing grappling tournaments and winning fights. Yeah. Doing all that. But instead, you got to keep the lights on for everybody. So thank you for that, Menace. Let's get out of here. Hit him with your send-off. Maybe we'll do something else this weekend because now I'm homeless. So I'm just going to be posted up in the Menace cave with the internet.
I'm into it. All right. Well, see you later. Well, see you later. This one.
Yeah, that's the real one. That's the Menace can.